All right, so this is since you brought it up, Sweeney, you said that you think it would be a great storyline for UConn against Purdue. I had this conversation with someone the other day. I want to know what the most intriguing slash best slash most interesting storylines. Like I know what it would be for my Final Four. I'm curious, Sweeney. I'll go to you first on this one. If you could pick any Final Four where you would have the most stuff to be able to write about, I guess is probably the best way to phrase it. What would it be?
So Purdue and UConn for sure. UConn obviously the repeat element. Purdue the Virginia arc certainly would be prevalent. The other two teams that I would take, I think Illinois would be in that Final Four just because obviously so much history there. Their fan base is so itching to get back to that stage, and then just the way that the season has transpired with the Terrence Shannon suspension, him coming back, them trying to find their footing again. I think that would be incredibly intriguing. And then the last team, I think, look, if we're talking about writing and who would make things interesting, it's Kentucky, right? Like if Kentucky turns it on, right, and obviously they've had their struggles, they've been through it. Cal has heard the noise, heard the heat. If Kentucky is in the Final Four with these freshmen after all the questions in the offseason, that would be an unbelievable story. Do I think it will happen? Not necessarily, but it would be very, very compelling if this Kentucky team is playing deep in the March.
Yeah, Henson, most intriguing Final Four for you.
I'm just gonna go with the big dogs. You're gonna go Purdue, UConn. We'll take a Houston, and we'll take Arizona. And that would be the most fun for me just to see these historical, heavy hitting, high power programs just locking horns, right? Like that's what college basketball is about. That's what I love to see. The feel good Cinderella story is awesome. But let's be real, when the Kansas play UNC in the championship, like that's college basketball. When you got
Mhm.
Kentucky's and the Arizonas and the heavy hitters, that's what we love to see. And I think that would be the most fun to see in Phoenix. So just the big dogs going at it, for a couple games.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's UConn and Purdue have got to be in there for all the reasons that we just mentioned. A chance to repeat, a chance to go and pull a UVA, I think is two fantastic storylines that you could tap into. And there's two other options that I have for what can make it really fascinating for the other two spots. The first would be Arizona and North Carolina getting there. Arizona, because one, you would have all of the Arizona fans showing up, but two, you would have that Caleb Love storyline and Caleb Love narrative arc where he went from being the guy that we all blamed for what happened at North Carolina to going to Arizona and helping them get back to a Final Four, while at the same time, the North Carolina team that he left, maybe it's right. Maybe he was the reason. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many fun things to talk about and storylines and narratives and ways that we can kind of dissect that matchup. I think that'd be one of them. The other one, to me, it would be Kentucky and Duke getting there. Kentucky for all the reasons you just mentioned, because it's Coach Cal finally getting back to a Final Four and John Shire finding a way to actually get to his first Final Four and kind of make that run in March. And again, Henson, you hit the nail on the head. We love upsets early in the tournament. We love when the big boys make it to the biggest stage because you want to see excellence on excellence and greatness on greatness. So I'm kind of there with you. That'll be fun matchups, man. I wouldn't complain about any of the Final Fours that we just mentioned. Listen,